No.
What was that, Joe?
Recording in progress. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Okay. Hey everybody, Richard from the Metal Cell podcast here. Delighted to welcome Danielle, Evan and Joe. We've got a forums and we've got plenty of news, plenty of stuff to talk about. And the first thing is I just want to talk to you, Evan, about the Worn Out tour in the UK, man. How did it go?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely unreal. Really, really, really good. I'd do it again tomorrow now in a heartbeat. So,
right. And how many gigs did you play?
There was 4 altogether. So we had 2 in Scotland. We had Glasgow, Inverness. Then we had the long drive down to Leeds, which was like 7 hours. And then Manchester. But yeah, all the bands we played with were unreal. Turnouts were amazing. We sold every single t-shirt that we have. So we have at the minute like a very low stock of hoodies and then a couple of vinyl left, which we'll have at the market on Saturday. But yeah, it was great to see. I feel like people they recognized that a band had traveled and wanted to give that little bit extra of a support. So yeah, nice. Unreal, absolutely buzzing off, to be honest now. Yeah.
And what about my main man, Jamie and Razor Sharp, Dead Blizzard, all the lads?
They were so fucking good, man. Oh my God. They have gotten even better. Like, and I'm not just saying that. That was the first night that we were playing with them. The boys came in, super quick setup, fucking knocked it out of the park. They were absolutely unreal. Didn't get to chat to them as much as I would have wanted to.
Yeah.
But
I didn't see any footage of that one up, actually. I don't know. Was it caught?
No, there was a few things of them that went up.
Okay.
But I have their t-shirt in there as well, actually. But yeah, fuck, I can't sing their praises high enough. They're trying to get back over, so we'll try to figure something out.
Oh, that'd be class. And who else played with you on that night?
We had Lower In and Below the Neck, who we were like doing the tour with.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there was a band, Slept On, hardcore band that are absolutely class.
Okay.
They had just released a new single, so it was their kind of like a single launch. And it was unreal. I think Manchester was the best gig for all of us. There was something about it. It just, crowd went absolutely insane. We got the full whack of everything.
What did you think of the 13th note, man?
Oh, the 13th note. Yeah, you were on about that, Joe. Ev, can you hear us? Must be Evan then.
He looks so confused.
Did I freeze there?
Yeah. 2 or 3 times. But Joe's asking you.
I was asking you, what did you think of the 13th note and the fancy vegan dinner?
It was actually unreal. When we were looking for food, I was like, I'm going to go down here anyway. And the lads kind of just followed me down. And when they realized it was all vegetarian vegan, it was like, right, fuck this, we're going to Pizza Hut. But I had a vegan burrito and there was dogs everywhere. So it was like, I knew I was looking forward to going to the 13th note, right, for that. Dogs and vegetarian stuff, I was in my element back.
And so was that the first ever gig outside Ireland for you guys?
For Worn Out, yeah. That was actually the first one that we've done.
First place Gamma Bomb ever played outside of Ireland as well, was the 13th note.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
There we go, like, yeah.
I thought you played England before. How did I think you...
No, like, to be honest, like, there was lots of plans and different occasions for us to go over, but pandemic being the pandemic just kind of cut it off, like.
Okay.
But this was the first time we actually got to do it and the first time it was announced, but there was a lot of, like, just about to do it kind of thing, like.
Okay. So out of all that, what do you think yourself? Will you get back over to the UK before
100%.
Before the end of the year?
Before the end of the year, maybe not, but we will definitely be over next year. We have kind of plans in place. And and we have more plans for ourselves, like kind of the end of the year. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff kind of coming over the next while. Like,
Yeah, sure. You can trust me with it anyway. There's no hassle.
no, I actually can't. Is the
See, we
thing.
have a trust issue. We have a trust issue. I can't believe this. Like, we have a trust issue. I only made one fuck up. Like, it's a good job. He's muted.
Muted, yeah.
Yeah. So, Joe, plans are afoot. There's a Gamma Bomb tour.
Yeah, there's a tour in July. So 20th anniversary tour, because we're now officially old.
Wow.
So we are.
Oh, Jesus.
So it'll be good crack. Like doing Derry and Belfast and Dublin in Ireland. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Like, we're trying to see if we could do Limerick or somewhere else, and it just never happened. So, but yeah, so going to be doing all the usual spots around England and Scotland, and I don't think we're going to Wales this time. And yeah, just looking forward to it. Really, we've got a couple of gigs now this weekend coming up in Holland that are kind of like warm-up gigs for that. So
that's the 13th and 14th, isn't it? Or 16th?
Yeah, 13th and 14th. Yeah. So we're going to miss your B-Day bash, unfortunately, Richie.
That's okay, kid. There's no hassle once you're doing gigs and being proactive and you're happy in your environment. It's all good with me.
Yeah, we're getting on really well. We just finished pre-production on the album as well. So James from Decapitated is going in to start doing the drums on like the 10th of June. So
nice name to drop in.
Insane. Yeah. That's going to be something else now, I'd say.
Did you go to see them on their short jaunt around Ireland at any stage? Decapitated, Joe?
Not really a fan. Have to be honest, really. Like, like he's an amazing drummer, and they're all brilliant players. But it's probably just a wee bit too for me,
Which is fair. Yeah, which is fair.
I saw them in Limerick. They were outstanding.
I'd say they were class. Did they play in Limerick? Did they?
They did, yeah. Yeah, the drummer is fucking
Harbinger
outstanding.
were on that as well, weren't they?
Who?
Harbinger. They were on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a savage band.
There was another band as well.
Swarm of the...
Yes, yeah, they were the
something.
Americans. Yeah. Spot on, yeah. And like, I saw some post there that Philly said you've roughly 20 songs wrote already, and you're
30.
Yeah.
Was it 30?
Yeah, so like it's sort of like about 20 with vocals, and there's like probably 30 all in. So I think the idea is we'll just get James record, pick the album around that, because basically they were saying that even if we had the record in August or something like that, that the turnaround time for vinyl is just ridiculous. They're like, be prepared for it to come out like next May or June.
Yeah,
that's, you're not going to avoid that either unless you're
super. You just
basically, I think if you're doing like 7 inches, you can get small runs done. But generally, like, it just seems to be 7 or 8 months is the minimum lead-in time. So we're kind of trying to look at it as a positive, saying we've got the album done, we can spend months on videos and try and really have a good campaign basically for it.
Yeah, use it for your advantage while you have the time, and that level of work is done.
Yeah, nobody does 7 inches anymore, man. I have a rake of brilliant 7 inches in the house. Fate No More, all those ones hanging up.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's one of those weird things that seem as like cassettes. Like I guess people do go home and play them, but like I would imagine a lot of people who are buying cassettes or 7 inches probably just putting them in the collection or putting them on the wall. They're
Absolutely.
not really actually.
Yeah, I definitely feel that with the cassettes anyway. There's a lot of, it seems to be a thing, a lot of hardcore bands are releasing cassettes. Yeah, black metal, but like I kind of get it with black metal, because that a true cult thing is just shit production, but on purpose, and tapes don't sound great,
Yeah.
But
do you guys get asked for them a lot, Evan? Do you?
no, very rarely, to be honest. I think maybe once or twice at a gig, but if you rarely enough we get asked for CDs as well. Like people seem to, when they see vinyl or they know it's online, they'll either take the vinyl or they'll stream it. We haven't really been asked. I haven't anyway been asked for if we're doing CDs. I think they're very kind of. I see them as definitely dead, if not on their very, very last legs, you know.
Yeah, and sometimes it kind of seems like the most important thing is if you've got, you know, shirts and vinyl and patches, like that's probably all you really actually need, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this day and age, definitely. You're spot on, Joe. Yeah, I agree. And there was a really cool gig announced today, Crypt of the Rift.
Crypt of the Rift, you mean?
Crypt of the Rift.
Crypt.
Rift of the Crypt.
Who's playing with that then?
Rift of the Croft.
Yeah, 10-ton slug, Soothsayer, Elder Druid, True Home, and Nomadus. You'll see me up there.
Lineup.
I was reading it out to Pete earlier, and Pete just goes, "Rich will be at that," and we were like, "Yeah, he loves Belfast."
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
When's that, Richie?
1st of July.
Yeah.
Are you around or are you on tour?
I'll be around.
Nice one. Like I you on the way up?
No, I have some secret stuff that I'm doing on that very day that I'm not going to tell you.
Fuck you,
until
Evan.
we don't have a podcast.
Yeah. I'm finishing shift work that morning, but I think I'll just finish early. You know, kind of finish at 3:30 in the morning, get a bit of an old kip, and then drive straight up.
I might head up as well. I'm trying to calculate how long it would take me to get up there.
It'll
4
take
hours
you.
or so.
No, it'll take me 4 hours from Cork. So it'll take you 3 from Limerick.
All right.
We
Well,
flew up
the way
last
I
time with
drive,
Yeah.
maybe.
Did you say you
agree?
flew up, Evan?
you. Yeah, when we were last time.
I thought
was
you
with
meant you
Richie,
actually got a plane.
No.
I give a plane a good run for its money, though.
You definitely would. Yeah, you definitely would.
It doesn't drop
I
below
wonder-
120.
I wonder if
Yeah.
you fly from Shannon actually to Belfast. That would be interesting.
No, I don't think you can, because I actually checked this earlier a couple of days ago. There's no
Shannon
direct
to
flights
London,
from-
London to Belfast. There you go.
Yeah. If you really hate the bus, like.
But Danielle, come on, 10-ton slug, Elder Druid, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You were saying you haven't seen Suits there yet?
I was saying that. Yeah.
And
I
no
don't
matter-
have-
Jesus,
Nomadus
they
are
were
fantastic.
incredible at the siege. Like,
if yeah, I don't have
Richie,
anything on in July.
did you see, Richie, that Clang has been moved once again? Did you?
The Siege,
that was
is
a while
it?
ago, wasn't it? No, for 29th of October now.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
luck with that. There'll be no
Yeah,
one
that's
out
it.
there.
Is it the same lineup?
No, it's not. But Clang is fucked. It's like, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think anyone has. Your man Run, it seems like a nice guy. You had him on the
Yeah,
podcast.
Rob, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he seems like an absolutely lovely guy, but just blind naivety, I think. I won't be surprised if we get a cancellation thing from it soon enough, you know.
And Jarvis's thing is still going ahead, Joe, isn't it?
Yep, it is indeed. So apparently it is doing pretty well. Tickets, there's
That's
a
good
few hundred sold and stuff like that. So I suppose it's just, it's one of those things that because they've got a lot of new album bands playing, you're gonna get a whole bunch of people traveling for it. Whereas I think that's probably the problem with Clang. It's not really the kind of bill that people are going to fly to Ireland to go and see in any great numbers, is it?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Greece for that. So otherwise I'd go without a doubt. No, there's just a lot of nice bands on that you wouldn't really get to see again.
Yeah, I think faith in it is kind of pretty much nothing from going from having the lineup with with the 2 stages, having Irish bands on it, and then getting rid of that, and now this, it's like, just condensing it down just to one post that says it's cancelled.
Well, without going into too much details, I know somebody told me how much it is for a coroner to come and play, whatever their fee is, and Candlemas, and it's like those bands couldn't play in, the Voodoo Lounge or Temple Bar Music Centre because their fee's too much. They need to fill that place to be able to make a profit.
Wow.
And it doesn't seem like they're anywhere near filling it.
No. Definitely not. And it's I really hope that it does go really, really well for them. But there was something like this about 10 years ago in Ireland called Mysterious Wounds Festival, and they got Sodom and Blind Guardian.
Oh, right.
To play
okay.
in Temple Bar Music Centre, and it didn't do well either. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want everything to work, obviously, but I mean, it's
like
just
and they got like kind of 2 or 3 bands that were really on the way up as well. Green Lung. You saw them, Danielle, didn't you?
Yeah, they're savage.
Yeah.
They're really, really good.
Yeah, they're very good.
And The Risen Dread were playing, I think, as well, and 1 or 2 other bands as well. I can't remember now. But anyway, so Metal to the Masses is over. Congratulations to Haint, great pals of the show, Ian and Steve. Yeah. Delighted for him. And Darren as well.
Where is it? Oh, I knock everything. I have my fucking
cue for the there. Fucking wooden spoon.
Yeah, I have a wooden spoon up there. I don't want to fucking knock everything. Hang on, I will get it. It's a momentous occasion, like.
They're definitely getting the value. Evan will definitely sponsor Evan for anything, and he'll wear it. Or can you talk, Evan? He's back.
Yeah, no, I think my internet went just as I said. I've been slapping my own arse with that whenever I've been bowled.
Yeah, good. So. Thanks for that, so I can put that back in the re-edit.
Yeah, no worries.
Fuck's sake. Who else was in the final? There was Nomadis, Survivalist, Blurred Reality, Divides Unfold, and Dynasty. I had to laugh when I saw her Dynasty. Blake Harrington and Alexis Colby, shout out 80s soap opera America.
I can't wait for Haint to actually release stuff because
I've heard some of the demos, man. It's
class. Going to be incredible.
Yeah, for a three-piece.
It's not very often that you get bands that win it that have no recordings out whatsoever. So it really is going off the merit of just that. What they've been doing live, but the demo stuff that I've heard is they're just going to shoot up straight away, like not heroin, like just as in how well they're doing.
Yeah,
they will. Jesus, fame goes to everyone.
It is strange that they've no recordings at all on offer, isn't it, Danielle?
Yeah, that is strange. I was going to say, well, their stuff ain't going to be bad.
Wooden spoon.
Yeah, that's why I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
this was like their first gig as well, wasn't it? They just started straight into.
That's mad.
I think there was other gigs, but
like they have a good history behind them with stand-up guy,
they do.
And so the quality's there. And in fairness, Ian is great, man, for the scene. He's always commenting in relation to bands or anything that we put up. Ian is
100%.
As I said, a great friend of the show. And I mean, like Nomadis finished second, I think, which is fantastic. They're another new young band. I don't know, have you heard of them, Joe? Have you?
Yeah, no, Freddie. They're great
you met Freddie. You met Freddie that time.
Yeah, we were down the last time.
But like they're definitely like a good example of someone who can kind of take thrash as a formula and then do like a very modern take on it and stuff, So fair play, because actually whenever we were speaking to him up at that thing in Belfast, he was saying about all the lineup problems they were having, and we was just feeling a bit disheartened about the band. So I'm really glad that they're going down so well, and they did well at the contest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and
very strong up there, wasn't it? The final, very strong final.
We played Blurred Reality before, and we all know how good Survivalists are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then so the Dublin Heats
took it in Dublin then.
The Dublin Heats, Tombs took that, So they're set for the Jägermeister stage and Fornot for the New Blood stage. Vendetta Love.
See Strangers with Guns are doing support on the Ugly Kid Joe tour as well.
Yeah.
Isn't that class?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Is it just the Dublin gig that they're doing it for?
No,
or are
they're doing the Belfast one as well.
Do Belfast as well. But I think they'll probably go down really well, because like if it was going to try and imagine what sort of crowd of people would like that kind of style of stuff, it's probably exactly that, isn't it?
Yeah. How big are Ugly Kid Joe like?
They were quite big in the 90s, weren't they? Kind of grunge kind of vibe.
It's still like pull like 500 or 600 people. I know that some of the shows though that they're playing in England are in arenas, like, you know.
Wow,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, they're playing like some 5,000 seaters and stuff in England. So.
That's fantastic for Jeff and the lads. That's a great experience. I saw him. Did any of you see him in the Siege? Evan, did you watch him in the Siege?
Yeah. I saw him at the Siege. Watching their new bassist makes such a difference to them.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
just what I was going to say. I was really impressed with him.
fills out a sound. Like yeah. He's been playing in bands for years now. He's an absolute gent as well. But you could just tell there was that extra tightness coming from him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Jeff was very sick that day.
I saw that. I didn't actually get to see him or talk to him at all. I think he played in whatever way he was sick.
Yeah, because I mean, he got in contact with me, and like he just couldn't get over that. I took pictures of him, and he just went, Jesus Christ, you were so close to me taking those pictures, and I never saw you, you know. And he just said he was just apologizing because he was really, really kind of nearly vomiting and stuff, and just had to fucking get out of the Siege and drive home.
Fair play to him for still going. Like,
yeah. So I'm going meeting him anyway, ironically enough, because he said to me that did I want to get on the guest list for Ugly Kid Joe and Strangers in Dublin. So I checked the date and I went, would you believe I'm going to be in Dublin anyway that day, and it's going to be for Gary Newman.
Oh, class.
Yeah. So
some crack.
So I'm going to meet him for points before or after the gig. We'll have to figure that one out. So I'm delighted to going to be meeting him properly this time. I'll get him shit-faced before they play for Ugly.
Oh, get all the secrets out of him. Like you'll get everything out of him. Like
Strangers with secrets.
Yeah.
So I think that's the roundup. I've got a song to play by a band. Let me see.
I presume so, all right.
Yeah, I know. Behave, Evan. Oh, yeah, here we go. So the band are called Voodoo Chief. They're from Northern Ireland. They're three-piece consisting of Paddy on guitars and vocals, Bart on bass and Paul on drums. The track is Wolf, and it came out on the 6th of May. It was recorded at Tribal King Studios, where they all seem to be involved in, all the lads in it. And Danielle Keogh of Monolith Audio mixed and mastered it. So here it is. It's called Wolf. And you don't have to review it or nothing, lads.
Sinking forward to the floor as I head for the door, and I'm shy, I'm bored, and all I know is I wanna cry all night long. Where did I go wrong? I'll write it down in a song, and I can scream and I can shout, and I'm so done with my drinking that I cross my heart and swear to keep it. I'm so done with my bleeding that I'd rather die than beat it. You take what you want,
So yeah, keep an eye out for those that are listening or watching on the show. They're called Voodoo Chief, and they're three Bs, as I said, Paddy, Bart and Paul. Thanks for sending on the track to the show. Over to you, Danielle.
Well, I can't really hear the audio. It's good when,
okay.
And so I can kind of half make it out.
All right, I'm only messing on it.
Yeah, no, I was like, I have nothing prepared. Usually I'd like have something prepared.
That's the first time we heard it too.
Yeah, that's the first
Yes,
time
it literally is. I dropped it on you.
It's something you can bang your head to anyway. Definitely. But yeah, I'd like to hear it clean. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you were getting it through your speakers. Yeah,
that's
of course.
it. Like, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I can't really make it out as well. Yeah.
Can't tell if the drums were programmed or not through these.
But definitely not programmed. So the topic, Evan, you came up with the topic. It's MySpace and how it shapes social media for bands now.
I think Evan's the only one who can actually talk on this.
What?
I
put into the group chat, I was like, this is before my time. I don't know anything.
Really?
Like, it's like just how it's like shaped everything. Because I guess if we didn't have MySpace, we wouldn't have what we have now with Facebook, and just, I guess, the way that bands go about promoting. I know, like, with, back in the day, there was some things that were okay then that are definitely not okay now. Like, on MySpace, you could like mass mail everybody when you put up a new post or something. So you kind of just go and add absolutely everyone and then send out this mass thing saying, oh, we have a new song or whatever kind of update. Whereas if you were, copy and pasting messages to people now, you're probably going to get blocked. Like, so there's a weird etiquette that's even changed in years. Like
MySpace was out before YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah. I think
that just says it all. Like, I mean, that literally was the go-to source for music.
LimeWire was mine.
A lot of people can forget that there wasn't really the same capacity for listening to music online back then.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't really Bandcamps or even YouTubes where you could have all your songs up on. So it was definitely about networking, and like that's how we met all the bands that we started gigging with, was all through just MySpace. And you could hear one of their songs on their MySpace page or whatever, and then they'll like, please put us in your top 10 friends so that other bands could see, oh yeah, you're a bit like this. And like it was a whole total like etiquette thing, because you'd be like, some bigger band put us in their top 10, so that means that people who like that band are going to start hearing our music,
Yeah, it's the same thing as well. Like the top friends thing, that's essentially the same thing that Spotify do, which like fans also like that's all kind of come from that same thing, Yeah, like everything kind of just I feel like everything just started at that, and then just people expanded from it. I know there was Pure Volume. I remember having a Pure Volume page years ago, but it was like the first kind of time that you didn't have to, like, if you had gigs, it wasn't literally just putting posters up in the place that the gig is on. Like, you could actually, you put it up online, it would just reach people straight away, which, like, imagine if we didn't have that now. Like, as much as people, fucking hate social media, whatever, I get it. Like, fuck it, it is a pain in the hole. But how fucking miserable would you be without having as many bands that you can find so easily?
Yeah.
If you didn't have it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going to say, what used to happen back in the day is you would miss gigs because you didn't know about them or didn't see the poster and stuff, and it became a lot easier to do that. And the whole thing with MySpace seemed to be that it always led to, some forum, where there'd be a whole lot of like-minded people talking about the same kind of thing,
And Daniel, so you were basically a YouTube child then?
Bebo was a thing. It was just, I think, like certain schools just didn't take up on MySpace. Well, maybe MySpace was just slightly before my time, because I think it was a bit before Bebo, was it?
Yeah, it was. I think
so.
like Bebo and Facebook were like competing at one stage.
Yeah,
you know?
it took me. I think I was on Bebo for a while, and that had the whole top 16 friends and all that type of stuff, and share the love and stuff like that.
Could you share songs on Bebo and all that as well? Was it,
you probably could, but I don't remember finding music through that.
Okay.
It was kind of YouTube more so, but it would have been LimeWire before that. Remember LimeWire, guys?
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember that well.
Poisoning my computer with LimeWire.
Bands. Yeah.
Oh, was that torrents?
Like bands would upload. Pretty much, yeah.
Similar to torrents, yeah. But I remember fucking my poor parents turning on the computer one time and a load of porn popped up and they were just like, "What are you doing?" What's that me? Tried to download Slipknot song.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, again, just showing how like versatile bands can be, that if you give them one thing, they'll manipulate it to make it something else that, like, say, what bands used to do is like upload their own songs, like their demos or whatever, but put it down, like when people would download it as like Tool new song, like leaked or something, and you'd be like, "Oh my fucking god!" and you'd go to download it, and it could just be like some shitty garage demo from some band in Canada or like fucking anywhere, and like people would just keep doing this. Like that was the first kind of way to, guerrilla marketing in a way, like, just being like, right, we'll trick people. I don't know how they thought it would really be a positive, because that
was a thing though back in the 90s. Whenever Before Load, or it must have been Before Load by Metallica came out, whenever someone released a whole load of Curb Dog demos and said these are demos for the new Metallica album, and they got like serious attention back then. People were like, "Oh my god," either loved it or hated it. Like,
Yeah, I remember hearing that already.
I remember the advent of torrents, and then suddenly, because there was like so much stuff thrown up on the, as you were saying, on the internet about bands, that I like couldn't believe I'd access suddenly to all this free music, and I would spend hours downloading fucking albums that I would never listen to, but it was just the sheer, not so much greed, but it was just the sheer novelty of going grab. And
it was a rush.
And fill up like all these hard drives full of fucking music, and then eventually you couldn't listen to it because you just took so much of it down that you just go, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Jeez, I remember the first time trying to download something off Napster with dial-up internet in Kilkenny. Like, it took like, I can still see it now, just sitting waiting, and the icon thing of when it's loading, where it's like one piece of paper goes into another folder.
Oh, that's right.
It's like watching that for hours, but like, and then when the thing downloads, sure, I didn't have the right thing to play it, so it would just say the name of the song with, I don't know, it's like .e, I don't know what the fuck it was, but I was happy out knowing that it was there. I think at one stage I was listening to stuff. Winamp. Some player. I'm sure somebody was
Winamp. Yeah.
Winamp. Yeah. I remember like,
back then as well. Like you could only play it on
QuickTime.
I remember back in the Lime torrents or whatever days, downloading an album and then realizing that it was like 8-bit recreations of the songs, because start of MySpace you couldn't upload music properly, so they would just have like 8-bit versions of it, or
polyphonic ringtones as well.
Oh, stop. Like ringtones at one stage actually counted towards like a sale, like to get in the chart. You could sell just ringtones and have a #1 hit single.
Crazy Frog.
Wow.
Crazy Frog. That's pretty much a Crazy Frog got #1. But
so it was basically,
Christ.
I'm trying to think, like, so torrents basically were lads burning CDs onto their computer and then uploading them. Is that it?
Yeah.
And then everybody was stealing them and spreading them around then.
Yeah, but
Well, this
the
is
thing
all after
was,
the. I was going to say this is all after the historic Lars Ulrich and Napster case. So there was a lot more kind of like. I think nowadays people are a bit more like, I don't know if I feel right about this, and you don't need to download stuff because it's all.
Yeah.
But like, back then everyone's like, you can just download anything. I remember downloading trash albums from some blog, and then our first album come up, and I was all like, excuse me, could you take that down, please? Because And they were like, no, you fucking hypocrite. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to think about this.
But it's different because it affects me.
With me. But that was good because that led the discussion. We were like, right, okay, if we're doing this and everyone's doing this, then it's best not to be precious about that sort of thing and not yap about downloading, because that was the whole thing back then, was that most bands were just getting off and sounding grumpy about it.
Yeah, to think how things are now, we'll say, with Lars Ulrich, like with the Napster thing, like there was people like rioting and burning Metallica CDs, which is fucking hilarious because it doesn't matter what you do once you bought it. Like, do you know what I mean? You can burn all these CDs that you bought. He's not going to make any less money off it anyway. But like, do you know, like people are like, what are you going to say?
Sorry, I was just going to say, like, people gave out shit about Lars Ulrich back then, going mad, and he was like, "Oh, I'm doing it for the younger artists." And now it's gone the other way, where people are like, "Buy music, guys. Spotify's the devil."
He was right,
and people are paying for Spotify.
Right.
He was dead right. Like, people are paying for Spotify, and they're still being like, "Oh no, Spotify's not right." But they'll still be like, "Fuck Lars Ulrich,"
Yeah, this is the thing. I like, Jesus. There was something about Lars that always just pissed me off. I don't know what it was, but like, I can never deny the guy there. Like, he knew what was happening. He saw it, and it's like, I wonder if there's many other people that will admit that he was right, or will they just be like, "Oh no, it's totally different." Like, no, it's totally different.
He was coming from the old school reasoning of, like, he had like an incredible vinyl collection and was like meeting these bands when they toured America and Europe and buying their merch and buying their vinyl. So he knew when it came to his band, how his band would like to fucking sell their merchandising, and certainly went through fucking Napster, and he was able to recognize very fast what the bigger story was, and that's just true. All the experience he had with
the fault here really with all this is to do with the music industry, because whenever it changed from vinyl to cassette to CD, they should have immediately had a plan for implementing something like Spotify or some way to legitimize people streaming music, because that was the whole thing. They thought downloading was the problem, but downloading was only popular for 10 years, and it turned out that people just wanted to listen to it, which they'd been doing, like copying tapes in the 80s or listening to stuff in the radio. So,
And can you remember with MySpace then, was much of that taken up with advertisements as well?
Not at the start.
I don't think any of them were at the start.
Yeah, I think there was a quite a purist thing to MySpace at the start, because like there was bigger artists on it, but it was mainly for smaller artists to get noticed, like there's loads of bands that got signed from, they might not have even played a gig, but just by their MySpace presence. That's kind of like what made the turning point of, like, a lot of labels now, they'll be looking for you to have the full package done. Like, it's rare that they'll sign you when you haven't really done much, but you're a cool guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're looking for someone that's like, right, these guys have done this, they've done these videos, they already know. It's like they don't. It's harder to kind of.
That interview we did with Carlo from Wormhole, that was really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that it just shows kind of that they want. Not even to say the less work that they have to do, but. There's not many labels for this kind of music unless you're going, massive that really will like try to do that whole thing of like, we're going to shape you into this. Like they kind of, you will have done the work before they get their hands on it. It seems to be now like.
No, so there's definitely people out here that don't know anything about MySpace. So what would a page look like for a band on MySpace? Would it be like they'd have a profile song, or they'd have a few profile songs? Would they'd have total plays? What?
There was like...
Was a count?
Originally,
yeah,
it was one song,
4.
and then it changed to you could have 4 songs. So
okay.
Yeah.
Later.
But that would be like a player in the right-hand corner, and like you'd upload whatever, profile picture, and then there was...
Could you download directly then the song? No.
The artist would decide if a song was downloadable. Like you could have them all up for free, or you could only play them on MySpace. So like a lot of bands would have one song sampler that you can download. But then
it was the thing that's weird about it though was it definitely required technical know-how to do it. You had to write the script for putting the player
coding,
in there,
like, basically.
There's a little box. You could have blog posts and it would take you to the blog, or there's a little box you could have tour dates on. But you had to literally go into the URL, like the scroll for the page, and put all that stuff in to do it, or to change the color of your background or whatever,
Yeah, it wasn't just click and drag. Like you really had to do the HTML coding, and to make something bold, you'd have like the pointy bracket B / close pointy bracket, and you'd write it then, and then you do the same thing, and that would make the post bold. So I think another one of the big downfalls for it was, it wasn't as easy to kind of just jump into, whereas Facebook, all the pages look the exact same,
Usability went against it, so.
Yeah, that's exactly it, because you get some lads that would, once you figure out how to do this stuff, they'd have 40 songs play at once. They'd have, the cursor would be a 420 thing just going around in circles and like glitter everywhere. And the page is just, everything just became a mess. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
They had the same kind of coloring as Facebook. It was like the same, similar blue, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think MySpace were offered to buy Facebook at the very start for something like, I think it was something like 70 something million or 90 million. And they were like, no, that's too much. We're just going to do our own thing. And sure.
Oops.
It was bought by News Corp for 580 million.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then sold in 2011 for 35 million.
And the guy who sold it for 35 million is now trying to offload it for £2 million or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, there was so many different times they were trying to bring it back, but it never happened. Like,
it probably will have whenever people are out. They'll have like some sort of renaissance or whatever. Like one of the things that I thought was really, really helpful, like again about networking and stuff, was it was the first time ever where you could actually have interactions with like your heroes and stuff. So like if you were really into Agnostic Front, you could find out the singer's name, look him up on MySpace, and send them a message saying, "Will you listen to my band's song, please?"
Yeah.
And that was really, really helpful back then. Where if you were trying to do your own press release, you could have quotes from like people, who were in your mind anyway of note, saying, "Oh man, these guys are brilliant" or whatever. And I think half the time they were just trying to be nice because we were children being like, "Well."
So they'd all be appearing on the comment section, and you can customize that then into, we'll say, your tour dates and
absolutely. Even
Evan is
like the blog
fucking a minute behind us, like Jesus.
Evan's in another dimension.
Oh.
I'm fucking, the internet here is an absolute dose. You all sound slow as well, but hopefully it catches up. Is it fine
He's
now?
using his dial-up from Kilkenny back in the day.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it seems to be okay now, Ev. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better now. But I was just on about Evan customizing the band's page to have tour dates on it. You'd have lyrics on it. You'd have 3 or 4 songs, and you'd have numbers to contact you, and you could forward it on to a friend or add a group as well on it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that you could do with it. I think obviously, some people went overboard with it, but just I think in essence, have I gone really slow or something?
Yeah, sorry, you went over a few seconds.
Yeah, right. Give me a second.
Never mind. Fuck me. What about me editing this?
I know that's I'm fucking right. Look, let me try something there. I'm gonna switch it back.
Thank God we weren't doing a live Facebook stream tonight. Oh my God.
Pardon me. So what were we talking about? We were talking about
Myspace.
The accoutrements of it. Like, that was at the age whenever blogs were massive, like where everyone had a blog,
Travel blogs.
And I think that was a big thing of it, like was blog posts on your MySpace wall, and you would have like studio diaries or just like a thing telling people how the gigs were that weekend and things like that,
I don't know how I managed to avoid all that stuff. I genuinely don't.
I think probably the answer to that is having 2 newborn children where you were covering.
That's a very good point.
Joe, I think you got it, man. And any free time I was just downloading frantically.
Downloading what?
Movies, Joseph. Movies. And
what
music.
Kind of movies, though?
Jesus. No, you always had a mate that had the fucking porn. You would not be providing it yourself, obviously, but there was always a dude that had it. Always a go-to friend for the weed, always a go-to friend for the porn.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, did you just smoke spliffs and watch porn together? Like,
yeah,
or your MySpace page.
I think we got kids in the first place, man.
I remember watching all of us getting stoned watching, I think it was like this real life killings or something. Remember there was that video.
A snuff movie.
What's it called? Masks of Death or Visions of Death or something?
Faces of Death.
Oh,
Faces of
yeah,
Death.
Faces of Death. Holy fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
That was
Christ.
such a bad idea, man. We just all were like really up for it. We all got stoned, and then like we were going after like 30 minutes of trying not to bust your bollocks laughing in case you'd offend everybody else in the room. And then just
I forgot
really
about
depressed.
that. Like, yeah,
What
I
is
forgot
it?
about Faces of Death.
Yeah. It kind of was
Jesus.
a compilation of a lot of war footage of executions and guys.
It was held as if it was like real footage, like it's a proper snuff movie that a compilation of people dying, but
It wasn't real, was it?
Yes,
it wasn't real. It wasn't.
Well, fuck it. The one I saw was just made up of World War II, Iraq, Afghanistan, all that shit. They were all
That's
on this
live. Thing. What's the thing? That's website live something. Fucking.
Oh,
the
live leaks, is it?
Live leaks or something like that. Yeah. Stay away from that now when you're
So
smoking.
what was the Faces of Death in? So it was a fake thing. People had actors in it and pretend they were what?
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
think there might have been some like real animal killings or like bits of war footage, but loads of it was all just like bits of people being chainsawed up and stuff like that, wasn't it?
I haven't seen
the
that
whole
one.
premise of it. Like,
Jeez.
From what I remember of it, it was rough because when you watch it, you do actually think it's real because it was promoted as such. But
whenever we were in secondary school, as part of a religious class, we had to watch Silent Scream, which is the abortion movie. Has anyone ever seen it now?
No.
Fucking hell. It's like, like Slayer wrote a song about it. That's how fucking mental it is. It's full of footage of aborted fetuses, people having abortions, like ultrasounds of abortions happening and all that sort of stuff. This was in religion class, and like people throwing up and stuff, and they're like, "This is how people
This is the reaction we wanted.
More Catholics."
So I went to an all-girls school, so we were like, and it was a convent. We were shown this video that was basically like, if you have sex before marriage, you're a whore and you'll get an STD and die. That was literally the theme of it. They're like, don't think just because you haven't penetrated that you're a virgin, because you're not, you slut. And that was literally, we were all like 17, just like, am I a whore? I
Eight times over.
It was actually like horrific.
And that was rolled out to you, what, in fifth year or sixth year?
Fifth year religion, yeah.
Wow.
It was like, sit down there and feel shit about yourself for kissing boys.
Richie, do you remember in the 80s, the Irish government had anti-AIDS ads? And the gist of the ads was the best way not to get AIDS is not to have sex outside marriage. It was all like, women who have more than one sexual partner risk getting AIDS. And that was the ad. That was it.
I remember being in school at around 13 or 14, and rumour went around that one of the lads had a rubber Johnny in his school bag. And I mean, there was at least 30 or 40 of us crowding around it to see this fucking rubber Johnny. I don't know what your man did with it in the end, like, because it was just like we had to kind of form an orderly queue and just go, so wow, that is an actual rubber Johnny, and examine it. Give it back, you know.
That's massive. How will I get it all in there?
How will I put it on my head?
How am I supposed to eat this whole thing?
Speaking of which, actually, I think he was trying to sell it in the end. I think he got a few bob for it. But when I was over in Malaga, I got a text off Ruben going, no, don't worry about it. It's not. He goes, Dad, any chance you pick up a load of packets of Trident chewing gum? Right? And I'm going, the fuck do you want Trident chewing gum from? He's flogging it in school.
Do you know what? He's a businessman.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
He's a supplier. Fair play to him now.
Yeah. So I had to bring him back like around 20 packs of Trident chewing gum that he'll sell for €2.
I was convinced you were going to say, Dad, bring me back a packet or 20 packs of Trojan
You're telling this is exactly what I thought
too. Flogging them like.
Evan, he's 13. He's 13. Jesus Christ.
You sure look. Fair play to him.
And did you see also that you two were over in Ukraine playing?
In that.
I think I have a mental block when it comes to you two.
That would be worse than that Faces of Death movie you're on about.
Yeah. Because you'd see, myself and Helen were on about this, that the personalities that were going over to Ukraine, and there was obviously Sean Penn was there at the start, then fucking Angelina Jolie, and we were trying to say who would be the next person over there, and I was going, it's going to be that dickhead Chris Martin from Coldplay trying to save the world. And I totally forgot about Bono, man. How could you forget about Bono?
Oh, Bono nearly starting wars just so we can write songs about him now at this stage. Like, fucking hell.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But there's 2 or 3 Ukraine bands still caught up in all that stuff. Ginger, one of them.
Ginger,
yeah.
And 1914 as well. They don't kind of really
hide. Are they Ukraine?
They don't hide fucking showing pictures of dead Russians on their Facebook,
I
Twitter
didn't know they were
feed.
Ukrainian. Fucking hell.
They're a great band.
Yeah.
The band supposed to play Cork with Elder Druid and Carosa. They had the Irish tour.
Oh, Stone Jesus.
Yes.
Stone Jesus. They're in the Ukraine. Yeah. It's mental just to think, like what it's actually like how they can plan any, like everything goes on hold, especially like having.
But think about, like, I know it's absolutely horrific what's going on about,
Of course.
but like as a musician, and there's such a huge scene in Russia for music, along with all those bands as well. So they're all must be looking at each other going, our fucking careers are over here. And I'd say the majority of them, in fairness, are total anti-Putin. But I mean, what would you say on that one, Joe? You probably know a good few bands, trash bands as well.
I don't know. Like we played in Russia in 2013, and it was the same week that they shot down that Dutch airliner over Crimea. Remember that?
Yeah.
Mm.
So, like, I don't really think it's the kind of society where, like, whenever they were having street protests and stuff, they were getting hundreds of people arrested. So I don't really know what they can do. You know, it's a very, very, very difficult situation that they're in, you know, because you're 100% right. 90% or more of the population don't want to have anything to do with the war, you know.
Mm.
And that's probably why they're losing the war as well. It's just because no one wants to be there, you know. It's not as if like they're doing what Ukraine are doing. It's just like fighting for their lives. They're just electively having to go and fight in this place that has always been, you know, kind of like the Russians were killing Ukrainians in the 20s there by the millions.
Yeah.
They've never had a good relationship really, you know, even when it was in the USSR.
Mm. A lot of them used to holiday there as well. So the likes of Odessa and places like that. And you know,
it is mental though, because like Russia was increasingly becoming a bigger and bigger market for bands touring and stuff, you know, like I know Iron Maiden and Rammstein and a whole bunch of bands had Moscow, St. Petersburg and a couple of Ukrainian gigs cancelled, you know.
Yeah.
And I said that there will be basically the same kind of thing that they had with South Africa in the 80s where like artists will boycott going to Russia, you know.
Yeah. It's fucking serious enough in relation to as for musicians on either side, you know.
There just won't be anything happening from any band or artist outside of there until it's all done. Do you know what I mean? And then you're having 2 years of nobody doing gigs and then adding this on top of it. There's some artists that are just, you know, they could have lost absolutely everything, including, you know, having to be worried about where they'll actually sleep and everything. It's insane. I don't think I genuinely could fathom how.
And like the thing that we're talking about, all those bands like Ginger and stuff, like, you know, they're all of fighting age, you know. So like I would assume that every one of those people has been conscripted in some way, or, you know, at least is, you know, like in a combat zone, which is awful, like, you know.
Mm. Yeah. So, and I would you believe I have quite a large listenership in both countries, and done well on the charts for the podcast with both. So,
it's crazy how much something like this even can travel. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But just hope it fucking finishes soon, man. It's horrific, you know. That prick just gets fucking done in somehow. I think he's dying of cancer or some fucking ailment or something. I'm not
hopefully,
sure.
Anyway.
Yeah.
People do things for insane reasons. Apparently, like one of the reasons Hitler started the Second World War was because it was his 50th birthday, and he was worried that. He's having a midlife crisis, being all like, I'm 50, friggin' hell, what am I going to do now to kind of cement myself some sort of legacy? Like,
I have to show my penis isn't small. I have to do something to show I don't have a small penis.
Take back the Rhineland.
Yeah. A man with a small penis would never do that.
Yeah. No, it is. It's an awful situation. And like the thing that the worst part of it is that there will end up being, after this war ends, some sort of cultural resentment of Russian stuff, like, you know, and some of that will end up extending to Russian bands trying to come to other parts of Europe to play shows, you know. But like, people are just, you know what people are like. People have just an illogical hatred sometimes. Like loads of Russian shops in America were being burnt out and stuff, and those people were saying like, they were from Ukraine, you know.
So. Yeah, I mean, you only have to look at Northern Ireland for how long those troubles went on, and bands just couldn't play up there or wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, thankfully.
It was a big thing in the 90s whenever Slayer and Machine Head played, and there had been a load of bomb threats on stuff on the concert, and they were like, well, we're going to go and do it anyway. And that was like a huge deal at that time, whereas Iron Maiden said that they were never going to come to Ireland while the Troubles were in full swing, so they didn't go at all in the 80s or anything, you know.
Wow. So,
seen Iron Maiden in Dublin, and they came out, or my parents seen them, they came out waving the Union Jack in Dublin, and apparently everybody just stopped dead, like, so no wonder they wouldn't do the North, you know. So. Yeah.
I've been seen them in Dublin a few times, and one of the times, they got booed like frig about it, and like had to make a speech afterwards, like.
Yeah.
And then whenever I saw them in Belfast a few years ago, instead of having a Union Jack, they just had some generic Iron Maiden flag kind of thing, like, you know.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Funny though, like, just like, you know the story about Megadeth playing in Ireland in the 80s and stuff like that. So I think it was very easy for people to put their foot in it, like, you know, and just say something stupid, and then.
Wait, what was this? What was Megadeth?
They played a gig in Antrim in like 1988 or something like that, and got banned from playing in Ireland for like 5 years, and you know they incited a big massive riot at the gig because they did a cover of Anarchy in the UK. It's really, really shit. But anyway, they were all like, this one is dedicated to the cause, Anarchy in Ireland, give Ireland back to the Irish or whatever. And he said that like the audience kind of divided in two, and there was a big massive row, and people were throwing pound coins at him and stuff.
Apparently, I don't know if it's true, but apparently that influenced them to write Holy Wars. That was,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So we got a good song out of it anyway.
Definitely got a good song. Like Paul McCartney give Ireland back to the Irish, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
Back in the Beatle days, Jesus Christ. But I mean, right through all those troubles, Stiff Little Fingers played, Joe, didn't they?
Yeah, all the time. And like, you know, lots and lots of other people like Rory Gallagher and Thin Lizzy and stuff played everywhere, regardless of kind of what was going on, you know. Which, you know, I guess was a kind of dangerous thing. Like, you know, the Miami Show Band were just like a regular gigging band, you know, and look what happened then. So I can totally see why a bunch of people wouldn't want to go there. And it could be the same kind of thing. If there's some sort of truce in Ukraine, but they don't give back Donbass, so they don't give back, you know, Crimea, you could get a whole bunch of bands saying, I don't know, like if there was a truce tomorrow, Evan, I don't know, maybe you would want to go, or maybe you wouldn't. It's hard to know, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is very like situational, like when it comes up and what way it kind of comes about. But I think there would be like an influx of people wanting to go there for support or to help in whatever way they could, and if there's something to rebuild. Because even if with a truce, I can't imagine it would be like, oh, cool, right, we'll just fly over the next day and everything's back to normal. I think once things are kind of settled, I think I could imagine more bands would want to do it just as even like a supportive thing. Do you know what I mean? More people would just be aware of somewhere that, you know, this will be something that people probably need more than any other place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And do you think, Joe, when he played Russia, what kind of gigs were you playing? Capacity gigs? Can you remember?
So look, we're playing like a kind of mini festival thing with some band called Nano War of Steel, who dressed up as bumblebees and played Manowar.
Fucking yes,
classic.
They were really good, but like I wish we had played St. Petersburg, because a lot of people say that St. Petersburg is very kind of liberal kind of city and stuff, and like Moscow was pretty unfriendly, you know, and it was very quiet. There was no one around in the streets, and it was just sort of, and like, you know, I suppose looking back at now, I don't really know if that was a good idea doing that or not. It was just one of the things where it was more overtaken with, oh wow, there's a gig offered in Russia, without actually thinking, oh wait a minute, what's going on in the world at the minute,
Like we all remember those fantastic scenes when Metallica played there and Pantera as well.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, amazing, absolutely. But like I think that was part of opening up, wasn't it? Like whenever they had the Moscow Peace Festival in the 80s and stuff with all the hair metal bands, and then they had AC/DC and Metallica, as you said.
Yeah,
a big show. Like a lot of places, we were offered shows in Israel a couple of years ago, and like part of our thing was that we're like willing to like consider going if we would be allowed to go and play other shows in the region. And one of the stipulations of going to Israel was that you weren't allowed to go and visit any of the neighboring countries. So like I think sometimes you end up in situations like that where it's like if you're going to somewhere where there is some sort of conflict going on, they can be very touchy about where it's on your passport. Where have you been to recently?
Yeah.
There's a big metal scene as well in Israel.
Awesome.
And they are very. Again, the people that I talked to, what was the name of the band they were called? Oh, I should know.
I remember you did you have them on the podcast before?
Metal Has No Borders.
Yeah.
And they were lovely guys, actually, really nice. But
I think that's a similar deal. With, do you remember the guys from Metal from Nepal?
Yes.
And they were saying there was this kind of same deal with basically if you had been to China or whatever, you couldn't go in that way, basically, or like it depended where you were traveling in or out of, whether they would let you go there or not,
Yeah. Yes, that's sad times, man. Fuck's sake, like, I mean, you've got like the likes of Roger Waters and them, being very strong on where they play and where he chooses to play and where he doesn't show. Then you've got U2, you've got like there's so many different artists all trying to, I suppose, break down the borders and barriers just and leave the fucking music do the talking. So, especially since it's the metal community, I think there's really fuck all people's ideas of freedom is very important to all of us, and especially metal. The community is incredible. So that's all I was more or less worried about in relation to those that are out in Russia, musicians out in Russia that certainly hate Putin, and the next few years is going to be very hard for them.
Absolutely, and like, do you remember whenever Afghanistan fell, there was a big thing about that, saying like there's a whole bunch of people who've had careers in metal music, in bands for the last 10 years in Afghanistan and stuff, and they're all going to have to basically go underground, because it would be totally illegal to kind of have anything like that going on,
Mm-hmm. I tried to get a band on from an Iranian band, I tried to get them on as well. They were a death metal band and they couldn't for the fear of their lives.
Yeah.
Really?
No. They said, because it was through the record label. I contacted them through the record label because obviously I couldn't contact them. And the record label were kind of up for it in relation to just that, they could do it. It's possible, but leave it with me and I'll talk to the lads. And I was there going, look, there's no hassle. They don't have to appear. It will be on Zoom, but it won't be their faces or anything like that.
They don't have to show it.
And even at that, they were just terrified that one of them would leave something slip out that it would trace back to what region they were in or what record producer or what record label, who they used for mixing or mastering. It was just a whole fucking minefield of problems there with four of them talking. So they just in the end said no.
That's absolutely fucking.
You met my mate Shram, didn't you, in Belfast, Richie?
Lovely.
He's from around. He said when he was growing up, they would get basically illegal tapes in the post or whatever from, the West. And that he was listening to like bands like Wasp or, Iron Maiden and stuff. But he said on the tapes, he had to have written some form of secular music, as in something religious or whatever written on the tape. So theoretically, if he ever got stopped and someone said, "Let me see your Walkman," they could see that whatever tapes he had was just, blah, blah, blah,
That's absolutely insane. Like,
And where did he was he Iranian?
Yeah.
Jesus, right, okay, God. How is he, man? Have you seen him lately? Is he still in Belfast?
Yeah, like I don't remember the last time I saw him. He's getting on great. He's been here for years and years now. Like, he's as Irish as they get, really, you know?
Yeah.
But like, again, that's part of the problem is because of the diplomatic situation. Like, he couldn't go home for family funerals and things like that just because it's so difficult to go and, and come back. So,
and look the way he is as well. I mean, I'd imagine there's issues as well with long hair
and tattoos specifically. It's a very strange kind of world like that, because I think Iran does get painted sometimes as being like it is incredibly anti-woman society, but they also have a lot of liberal leanings and stuff like that, and other things going on. But I don't know. Like, this is a good chat to have though, like Evan, in terms of like sometimes it is good to have a chat within the band and say, right, even without being an overtly political band, where would you like to play? Where would you not like to play? You don't, because sometimes you can inadvertently, said like in the 80s, whenever they were doing that apartheid, in South Africa, and they were doing the boycott of it. Black Sabbath went and played there in the 80s, and they got like tons of crap for it. And Queen went and played and said that they didn't even know that it was like they didn't even know that there was a boycott going on.
Yeah.
So it's just not a like conversation to have, but like it is good to have it so that you don't end up going and doing something that you might end up in hindsight going, you know what, maybe that wasn't the best thing.
Inadvertently kind of look like you're on the side of something you didn't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where just pure ignorance or...
Whenever the Stones played in America for the first time, they had to do segregated audiences, it was like half black on one side and half white on the other side and stuff, They said after a couple of gigs, they were like, we don't want to do this, we would rather just go home than have to play these segregated gigs,
I just finished reading your man's book, Ian Hunter of Mott the Hoople. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Rock and Roll Star, it's called, and they used to get fucking hammered in certain sections of America for having long hair.
Really?
Yeah, that was back 1970, 71. Even the whole thing of just even going into a hotel with long hair, you just people ridiculing them. Working class Americans, just like not just normal working class Americans getting freaked out over the long hair and calling them out and throwing stuff at them. Amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
You get that here still, like.
Like, the prejudice of like based on what people look like. Sure, Sophie Lancaster, she was only killed because of what she looked like, So
yeah,
it's not that far distant memory, that sort of way of thinking, unfortunately.
Yeah. There you go, man. That's because of MySpace. We've journeyed across through time and space, literally.
Really depressing.
It is a social platform that it's worldwide, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Somebody had Vladimir Putin there on MySpace and ask him to wise the beam.
Why are you such a cunt?
Open up Bebo there, Danielle, and sort it out for us.
Yeah, get him on Friendster.
You okay, hon?
So the only thing we didn't cover, because when this goes out, it'll be over, but maybe just tell us a brief thing about the metal market in Cork, Ev, please.
Yeah.
Is it once off? No.
No, I don't want to do it as a once off. So this is kind of like the first one. I want to kind of gradually grow it, but it's kind of like less pressure. It's kind of easy going. People want to come down, you know, you can, from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the roundy. Even if people want to just come down and hang out and drink pints, you know, that's absolutely fine. It's kind of no pressure. It's a nice place to kind of maybe meet some contacts, you know.
I presume it's upstairs, yeah? Or is it?
Upstairs in the roundy, yeah. And then the plan will be hopefully to kind of grow it and have it be its own thing.
Excellent.
I'd love ideally to do something like, you know, maybe not this Christmas, but I probably will do one somewhere around then. But, you know, to have like a big, like the Dublin alternative market, but more for, it's just a little bit more specific for the kind of heavier side of things. Do you know what I mean? Because Cork hasn't had anything like this. There's other venues and stuff that we're looking at to kind of expand the whole thing that we can do with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, you know, just seeing what way it goes, and hopefully people just come down, and because it's something different, you know. If people are giving out that there's nothing to do during the day,
yeah,
there you go.
Excellent. And is there going to be stalls and stuff at it, man? Like, is there people coming to sell their wares?
Yeah, we have a few bands. So we have Appenum now will be there. Ourselves, Corrosa, Obsidian, Zora, Godalone, yeah, Debulga Design, and we might have one or two other few things there, and there'll be music, you know, playing throughout the day. I'm looking forward to seeing what way it goes, just because there seems to be a good interest in it. I don't know if it's just because it's something different, or if people want to come down really and, you know, buy stuff. But it's hard for bands when they haven't had gigs for so long to, you know, to try financially make the next plans, because a lot of the time merch and vinyls and whatever, that's the sale of that really does determine the next thing that the band will do.
I think it's a brilliant idea in the sense of, I don't think I've ever heard of something like that going on before, where it's like, we're going to get these 8 bands to come down and sell merch, you know, and like people who like the bands can go and meet them, because a lot of times at gigs, like for whatever reason, you can't sit and have a chat with the band. Either they're busy or you're busy. So
50 other things
cool. Instead of talking to some random merch person, you're going to get to chat to the bands themselves, you know.
That's it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. Again, like, it's the first one, so I'm hoping that I can grow it into something bigger. But, you know, I think it's a good start. Just seeing what way people will react to it, like, you know.
And it's free in the whole lot, yeah.
Free, yeah. Free cool. In. Bands will have.
We'll never know what the bands will have. Just have to go there.
Just to see what's happened, the perfect pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing went, did it?
Yeah. Bands will have what, Ev?
Bands will have all their stuff, but I wanted to kind of do it in a way that there's specific bands, you know, on for different ones, rather than it just be like, oh, there's a market on, bring your stuff. Yeah. And you could have an absolute shit show of people, like one guy coming in with 2 t-shirts being like, can I sell these, like, you know, Up Ireland t-shirts? Like, you know.
Fuck it. So, that's me ruled out then.
Would you like to try and get like wee labels and stuff? Like someone like Invictus used to always do stalls, like gigs in Dublin and stuff like that, you know? Like, would that be something you'd like to do as well? Like get other like Irish metal artists or whatever?
As in to run markets themselves, or just to have it at?
Like, so that it's not just bands, you also have like Irish labels or Irish designers.
100%. Yeah, like we have bands, we have graphic designers at this one as well. So like anything within the scene that is selling any merch or any physical thing, 100%, absolutely get in contact as well, because after this one I'll start making plans for a second one. I kind of need this one to gauge
What does he need this one for?
No.
Engaged reaction.
Engaged reaction, yeah. Yeah. We can see you, but we can't hear you. Oh, God. I like how he's still trying to talk to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on, Evan, come back.
I'm trying my best.
Oh, there he is.
I'm trying my fucking best here.
So, yeah, that's it, lads. Great talking to you, great catching up. Joe, best of luck on the tour.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll get
Awesome.
good show out or people showing up. And you don't have much of a break then before you play the Derry one, do you?
So Derry and Hellfest are in June, and then this UK tour and Irish tour is in July. So
fucking hell,
we'll do
Hellfest
that,
as
and
well.
then, like, I think it'll be just a case of like chipping away at doing stuff on the album really then until the end of the summer or end of the year possibly.
Danielle, are you going to Hellfest?
Going to the first weekend, yeah.
Is that
So
when
I'm with
Joe's?
Joe.
You're all right,
it's
okay.
Joe.
First
weekend.
It's the 18th, isn't it? I think Primordial are playing at that, aren't they? And someone else.
Yeah, Primordial are playing. The headliners are Deftones.
Or
They now have to have
Crewcon thrown in there in Hellfest now? Crewcon?
I don't know.
No, I think Tom's going to it, but I don't know
okay,
if they're playing.
And Ev, just before we pack up, what's the story about worn out? One tour under the belt, anything else coming down the
Yeah,
line?
we have the Templemore Metal Festival on the 4th of
class.
June,
Cool.
and then we have Limerick with Cro-Mags and Belfast with Cro-Mags.
That's going to be deadly.
What date is the one in Limerick? Do you know?
The 23rd of June.
Yeah, I'm back.
Thursday,
I'm literally
yeah.
back from Greece that week, so I'll be up there.
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was
It's a
convinced you were
Thursday
going
night
for all
then,
of
yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
I was originally, I was going to America, but now I'm going to Greece, so
Oh, even better now, yeah.
yeah, so I'll
Come
be
to
there for
Belfast
that.
as well, sure.
Is Belfast the 23rd or the 24th?
25th.
Oh, okay.
Helen's gonna watch this and fucking kill me.
Okay, lads, that's it. Thanks a million for coming on the show, Danielle, Joe, and Evan. Much appreciated. Crucially, support your local metal scene. And support Evan's market. Hopefully now that'll be the start of many good things to come down the line for
Hopefully.
Cork.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers, lads.